Chicago auto show Stellantis has decided to pull out.
The move comes after a tumultuous year and the manufacturer dealing with budget cuts.
From lifters breaking down to entire engines shutting off in the middle of the highway, Stellantis owners are facing nightmare scenarios that are costing them thousands in repairs. With lawsuits piling up and customers' trust fading fast, can Stellantis survive this crisis? Or is it on the verge of losing loyal buyers for good? The 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 is supposed to be one of the most dependable workhorse engines out there. You can find it in some of the most popular Stellantis models, including the Chrysler 300, Dodge Charger, Dodge Durango, Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Ram 1500. On paper, this engine looks solid, good power, decent fuel efficiency, and widely used across multiple brands. But here's the ugly truth. Owners are discovering that this engine isn't as reliable as Chrysler claimed. One of the biggest issues is overheating. The Pentastar has a nasty habit of running hot, and when that happens, the cylinder heads can warp. If you know anything about engines, you know that's a big deal. Warped heads means coolant leaks, oil leaks, and eventually, complete engine failure.
This is our problem, folks. See the difference? Do you see what it did to that lifter?
Then there are the oil pressure problems. If the oil system isn't working properly, the engine won't get the lubrication it needs, which means metal parts start grinding against each other. That leads to catastrophic damage, often requiring a complete engine rebuild. Some drivers have also reported timing chain failures, which can cause the engine to seize up and leave the vehicle completely inoperable. The most shocking part, some owners are reporting full-blown engine failure at just 100,000 miles. That's way too soon for a motor that's supposed to be reliable. And let's not forget the repair costs. Fixing a failed Pentastar can set you back thousands. The 5.7-liter Hemi V8 is one of the most legendary engines in the Mopar lineup.
Fiat Chrysler is recalling more than 1.1 million cars and midsize SUVs worldwide. Experts say the problem is you can't tell if you put the car in park. Now, the models use an electronic shift lever. If you're not in park, the engine doesn't shut off, increasing the risk of the car rolling away.
You'll find it under the hood of powerful muscle cars like the Dodge Charger and Challenger, as well as heavy-duty trucks like the Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500. This engine is known for its strong performance and aggressive sound, but many owners are finding out the hard way that it comes with some serious problems. The biggest issue with the 5.7-liter Hemi is the multi-displacement system. This system was designed to improve fuel efficiency by shutting off some of the engine cylinders when they're not needed. Sounds great, right? The problem is that the MDS puts extra stress on the engine's lifters and camshafts, causing premature wear. That's where the infamous Hemi tick comes in. If you own a Hemi-powered vehicle and you hear a ticking noise coming from the engine, that's not just an annoying sound, it's a warning sign that your lifters or camshaft might be on their way out. And when they fail, you're looking at a repair bill that can easily climb past $9,000. Another major issue with this engine is excessive oil consumption. Some owners report that their trucks and muscle cars burn through oil at an alarming rate, sometimes needing extra quarts between oil changes. If the oil runs too low, the engine can suffer permanent damage. What makes this situation even worse is that Stellantis has reportedly known about these problems for over a decade. Since at least 2008, there have been complaints about the Hemi's lifters and camshafts wearing out way too soon. Yet the company continued selling these engines without making significant changes. Some unlucky owners are experiencing complete engine failure before even hitting 50,000 miles. That's not just bad luck, that's unacceptable. If you own a Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, or Compass with the 2.0-liter turbo engine, you might want to pay close attention. Turbocharged engines are supposed to provide a good balance of power and fuel efficiency, but this particular one has been giving Jeep owners some major headaches. One of the most common problems is turbo failure. Some owners have reported that the turbocharger stops working unexpectedly, leading to massive power loss. Imagine merging onto the highway and suddenly feeling like your Jeep just lost half its power. That's not just frustrating, it's dangerous. Another issue is overheating. Some drivers have experienced coolant leaks and warped engine components because the cooling system isn't doing its job properly. And when that happens, it's only a matter of time before the engine gives out completely. In some cases, owners have had to replace the entire engine, a nightmare scenario for anyone who thought they were buying a reliable Jeep. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a serious defect that can leave you stranded on the side of the road with a massive repair bill. Fiat's 1.4-liter turbo multi-air engine was supposed to be a game-changer, using advanced valve timing to improve efficiency and performance. Unfortunately, what sounded great on paper has turned into a nightmare for many Fiat 500 Abarth and Dodge Dart owners.
A recall covers the 2012 to 2014 Dodge Charger, Chrysler 300 sedans, and the 2014 to 2015 Jeep Cherokee SUV. Now, Chrysler says over 40 people have been injured. The company will notify you if your car is affected.
Valve failures are another major concern. When the valves don't function properly, the engine can misfire, lose power, or, in extreme cases, fail altogether. And fixing these issues isn't cheap. Multi-air system repairs can cost a small fortune. If you thought Stellantis' engine troubles were limited to Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler, think again. Across Europe, Peugeot and Citroen owners are dealing with their own set of mechanical nightmares, particularly with turbocharged engines that were supposed to offer a balance of power and efficiency. Instead, these engines are failing at alarming rates, leaving drivers with expensive repairs, and in some cases, no choice but to replace the entire engine. Let's take a closer look at the worst offenders. The 1.6-liter turbo high-pressure engine, found in the models like the Peugeot 208, 308, and 508, as well as the Citroen C4, has developed a reputation for being one of the most unreliable engines in Europe. When it works, it delivers decent performance and efficiency, but for many owners, it doesn't work for long. One of the biggest issues is turbocharger failure. The turbo in these engines is prone to breaking down, leaving drivers with severe loss and repair bills that can reach thousands of euros. But that's just the beginning. The oil pump, responsible for keeping everything lubricated, has a nasty habit of failing, leading to oil starvation. When that happens, metal components grind against each other, causing extensive damage in a short amount of time. And let's talk about overheating. Many Peugeot and Citroen owners have reported cooling system failures that cause the engine to overheat rapidly. When an engine overheats, it's not just an inconvenience, it can warp important components like the cylinder head, leading to even more catastrophic failures. Some owners have had no choice but to replace the entire engine, turning what should have been a reliable daily driver into financial disaster. If you own a Citroen C4, C5, DS3, or DS4 with the 1.6-liter THP engine, chances are you've already heard the horror stories, or worse, you've lived through one yourself. This engine suffers from many of the same issues as its Peugeot counterpart, with turbo failures being the most common complaint. But here's where it gets worse. The timing belt is another weak point. A failing timing belt isn't just a minor inconvenience, it can completely destroy the engine if it snaps while the car is running. Some drivers have faced engine failures well before hitting 100,000 miles, a shockingly short lifespan for an engine that was supposed to be a modern engineering marvel. And then there's the oil leakage problem. Even if the engine doesn't fail outright, persistent oil leaks can cause excessive wear and tear, leading to more problems down the line. Owners who thought they were buying a reliable Citroen or DS model are instead finding themselves trapped in an endless cycle of repairs. If you thought Peugeot's troubles were limited to their larger turbocharged engines, think again. The 1.2-liter PureTech engine, found in models like the Peugeot 208 and 308, have been giving owners headaches of its own. The biggest problem? Carbon buildup. This engine is notorious for accumulating excessive carbon deposits, which can clog up crucial components and lead to serious performance issues. Over time, this buildup can cause severe engine damage, sometimes requiring a complete rebuild. Then there's the turbocharger failure. You'd think a tiny engine like this wouldn't put too much stress on a turbo, but Peugeot's design flaws have made it one of the most failure-prone turbos out there. Some drivers have had to replace their turbochargers multiple times, and each repair comes with a hefty price tag. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.